I'm starting a mob, my own mob. All the gangs in the world can be up under my mob. In all the hoods, in all the cities, in all the different countries overseas, in all every different race can be up under my mob. Like, if you already in the gang already, I ain't gonna stop you for claiming your gang or claiming where you from. You was just claiming your gang and where you from, but when you join the mob, you gotta claim the mob, put the mob in it. When you say that, before you say that gang and where you from. You feel me? Cause like this, say like a person can be in the same gang, but one in the mob and the other person ain't in the mob. They connected because one, they part of the same gang, and the one that's part of the mob connected to the mob and part of the same gang as the other person. You feel me? In case if a war go down, some beef will go down and stuff, you got all type of kind of gangs in the mob, from 5-point star, from 6-point star. If they gang 5-point star or not 5-point star, they gang 6-point star, they gang not 6-point star. You feel me? And then if they got any problems, the mob can step in and holler at the person that's in the mob that's part of that gang, to talk to that person that's part of that gang that that ain't with the mob. And they can talk to him and make it see okay and stuff and everything. But when you go against the mob, you fight against all them different gangs and all them different races. You feel me? Cause like this, like if the mob, say like the person, they both part of the gang, they affiliated because they part of the same gang. The person that's part of the same gang, one in the mob, and one part of the same gang that's not in the mob. If they go to war with each other, the mob gonna back that person that's in that gang that's part of the mob. That's in the gang, the other person, and go against the person that's part of that gang in the end that's not part of the mob. It would come down to it. And they fight all the different gangs. You feel me? But if the mob looking out for this person, because this person part of that gang, the mob look out for that person that's part of that gang that's part of the mob, and that person look out for the other person that's from that gang ain't part of the mob because they from the same gang, and you then one is part of the mob, part of that same gang, but one part of the mob, and the other one is part of that same gang, not part of the mob. You feel me? And then if that gang, if that person that's, or that gang member that's part of their gang ain't part of the mob, looking out for that gang, for that gang member that's part of that gang, that's part of that mob, that's part of the mob, that person gonna look out for the mob. And then say like, If the mob like the person or don't like the person, and that person is part of that gang, but that person part of the mob, and the other person part of that gang ain't part of the mob, if that person ain't part of the mob that's part of that gang, get into it with somebody, and the person that's part of that gang that's part of the mob gonna back his people up because they part of the same gang, but the one that's part of the mob gonna have to protect that person, and that person gotta protect their gang member that's not part of the mob, the gang member that's part of the mob. And then if it comes something go down, that gang member that ain't part of the mob want to help the mob out or not, if the mob getting some beef, that person gonna have to, that person that's part of the mob, that's part of that gang, gonna have to help the mob, and that person that's part of that gang, the same gang, but that person ain't part of the mob, gonna have to come, if they like the mob, or don't like the mob, they gonna have to come and help. That person that's part of their gang, and that person that's part of their gang, part of the mob, gonna help the mob. You feel me? On the real. And I put all the gangs worldwide up under the mob. I know some people ain't gonna agree, but some people gonna agree. You feel me? On the real. And my mob everywhere. People everywhere, all type of kind of races. On the real. Being there, it don't matter if you locked up or you on the outs. Had all the every different hood up under my mob. Had all the every different neighborhood up under my mob. Have all the every different block up under my mob. Have every different street up under my mob. Have every different suburb under my mob. Different block. On the real, from the streets to the jails, penitentiaries, and juveniles, from the jails, penitentiary, prisons, from all the jail, penitentiary, prison, juveniles, back to the streets. In the streets of all every jail, prison, and juvenile, and on the real, and all every different city, and all every different 50 states. And all every different 50 states, and all every different country overseas. Maybe deep in. On the real. From all every different city, and all every different 50 states in the United States, to all every different country overseas, and all every different country overseas, back to all every different city and all every different 50 states in the United States. And all the countries from overseas to all every different city and all every different 50 states in the United States. Back to all every different country overseas. You feel me? You locked up or not locked up. All every different race. From males and females. This the movement. God bless.